You've heard of RoboCop, but have you heard of Robo Ninja?
You're that ninja.
Ninja Cop. Ninja Cop, also known as Ninja 5.0, is the coolest name you could name a video game no matter how you slice it. Released in 2003 as a Game Boy Advance exclusive, Ninja Cop was the handheld's answer to its lack of any substantial ninja-themed platformer, and it might just be one of the console's crown jewels considering. That said, it's a really fantastic platformer in general, if not a bit lacking in content. As for many, it was brought to my attention due to its remaster and re-release earlier this year, but it has always remained a cult classic through those years and had become an actual rarity before becoming readily available. You take on the role of Joe Asuji, a detective who just so happens to be a ninja, and his occupation is just a vehicle for the game's various realistic set dressings, such as apprehending robbers at a bank, snooping out a warehouse facility, or my personal favorite stage, where you stop a plane from being hijacked. This is all while maintaining a retro-inspired look that pays homage to the platformers of the past, which this game is ironically as old as the games it aimed to imitate. Terrorists, influenced by magical masks, have taken over a nondescript metropolis. If that strikes you at all familiar, well, it's because that's basically the plot of Ninja Gaiden 3.
Yeah.
Except here it feels like it was made with more earnestness somehow. Like I've stated, the game pays tribute to the old Ninja Gaiden trilogy along with intermingling gameplay elements, most notably Joe's grappling hook, from other NES classics like Capcom's Bionic Commando. This marriage makes for a game with a staggeringly good game feel, especially once you pick up on its ebb and flow. It's kind of funny how prevalent grappling hooks were in gaming all those years ago, before making a huge resurgence in the 8th generation. Yeah, you remember that little microcosm of time where we saw a comeback of the grapple hook mechanic? I think if Ninja Gaiden 3 was released just a bit later, NG would have had a grappling hook mechanic. Wait, there was a Ninja Gaiden with a grappling hook. Although, to be fair, it's because it shamelessly copied Kratos' Blade of Olympus gimmick. Ninja Cop's grappling hook, on the other hand, is more than just a gimmick, as it adds a freeing sense of momentum trekking through these expansive vertical levels. There is a bit of getting used to, naturally, but the physics on this device are incredibly responsive, surprisingly so considering the hardware it was developed for. The grappling hook in this instance facilitates the sense of a ninja's creed, being as agile and efficient as possible. Once you get past the game's learning curve, you can zip through levels without a hitch, which is not only rewarding but also actively encouraged with the evidence of the game's time trial mode. I only wish you could easily reset the stage by way of the pause menu, as sometimes you may feel you have botched a run and want to restart, especially if you familiarize yourself with the stage's layouts. But the remastered version does introduce a rewind function like all these other retro re-releases usually do, but the levels are so brief that it doesn't feel warranted here. It takes away from the replayability of the game, though I won't lie, I use them, and pretty liberally I might add. Listen, if it's available to me by way of a simple button press, I'm gonna use it. Being smooth is the name of the game really, but the other part of the game's name contributes to the overall experience too, being a cop and whatnot. The main objective of each level sees you freeing a certain number of hostages before exiting the final red door. Freeing hostages necessitates a time-based component wherein the hostage's speech bubble indicates the window of time during which it is safe to strike the offender. Hit the perp with either projectile or quick slash when the bubble reads "don't shoot" and you'll end up killing the hostage while still having to deal with the enemy. Any other window of time and it's safe to hit. Accidentally killing hostages will penalize some health loss, and on hard difficulty will result in an instant game over, so getting a concrete read of these situations is crucial. You can even play it stealthily and hit them when they are off guard, resulting in a unique animation where they pummel headfirst into the ground. You can get a better read of the room by pressing the L button and scrolling about, allowing you to move the camera a fair distance ahead to see what lies in wait, whether vertically or horizontally, to better utilize stealth by scouting out enemy placements. But sometimes your vigilant efforts will be for naught. Occasionally you'll encounter a ninja ambush that you can't circumnavigate. That's right, you had to fight ninjas in a ninja game. Who would have thunk? Along with saving hostages are these multicolored keys peppered throughout the levels, and you will have to track each one of them down to open up to new areas and to crescendo to the red door to finish the mission. And they could be in some pretty high risk areas too. Like in some instances, they are only dropped after defeating certain enemies, which could result in aimlessly roaming about in the level in search of it if you were purposely evading enemies to be conservative with your health bar, if you weren't confident in your ability to tackle them head on, and you're given a toolbox of options for mobility to navigate these obstacles. You can crawl, slide, and spin jump, akin to Sonic's spin jump where it'll hit the enemy if you don't want to swipe away at them on the ground. You also don't need to get close and personal to dispatch enemies, as you have the means of shooting projectiles, which have 3 different tiers of potency when you pick up these red lightning bolts. And your power level is easily readable by the color swap of your garb. By level 3 you're shooting Hadokens all the while wearing this sleek black Shinobi Shizoku. Yeah, I'm thinking this game is pretty awesome. It doubles as a visual motivator and a motivator to keep you at the top of your game. Conversely, you are incentivized to hit enemies head on because this boldness will directly fill your ninjutsu gauge, which can grant you moments of invincibility. This power comes in clutch as some obstacles really do require pinpoint accuracy and ninja-like reflexes. Filling the ninjutsu bar fully and you'll be granted a powerful one-time move that'll decimate all enemies on screen or take a chunk out of the boss's health bar. Unsurprisingly, the game contains bosses to sum up each level, each containing their own theme and gimmick, with some being quite ruthless. But thankfully, if you fall to the boss, you won't have to go through all the stages again to get back to it, as the boss room is a checkpoint. This game is one of the few rare examples where I'd recommend playing on easy first, and then proceeding through the difficulty totem pole. Not because of some steep learning curve, but more for story purposes that I won't get into if you're planning on playing this. Let's just say it left me pleasantly surprised and you'll be in store for a heart-thumping finale. The difficulty also affects your strategy more than just the run-of-the-mill buffed-up enemies nerf player power angle. With Ninja Cop's difficulty bumps come enemy layout changes and health and energy pickups changing, or in some cases not appearing at all, making it feel like a whole new playthrough. If you're looking for a ninja platformer that has a few tricks up its sleeve, then Ninja Cop is the one you're looking for, coincidentally on the year of the ninja too.